I love to fly up in the sky. Through the clouds I reach so high, climbing up to touch the light. Adventure calls me day and night. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dreams begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. The stars above begin to shine, painting trails so bright and fine. Every turn brings something new, endless skies in brilliant blue. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dreams begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the drums begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soared into the light.
And here we are in not so cloudy France in Nantes. I just noticed this airport has a bug because jetways aren't loading, so apologize in advance for that. When we arrived yesterday or the other day, I don't remember, we did have the jetways, so something must have happened, not sure what, but GSX probably. Anyway, we're back to our trusted Airbus A320 from Fenix Sim, and today we're going back to Portugal after been out for so long, visiting various different destinations. Today, we're just going back. And as usual, let's make a nice little inspection. Fans are windmilling quite hard. Can I slow them down? Both of them are. Anyway, it doesn't look like we had any damage on the blades. The cells look good as well. Yeah, we've been doing some flights with the Boeing 737 from PMDG. It was quite a good experience. Can we open the cowlings? I don't think we can. But now we're back to familiar grounds with the Airbus A320 CEO. This is not the Neo, but we're going to fly back to Lisbon with the CEO from Fenix. Now, Fenix is known to be quite careful with their visuals, but the flight model, it's not really up to par. We still have some vertical navigation issues. They've admitted it, Fenix have admitted it, that they are redeveloping the entire FMC and, well, not the FMC, what I mean is they're rebuilding the aerodynamics for this plane to make it more true to life, if we want. So this is something they'll be doing in the next update, but who knows when. We do know that the A320 and A321neo has been delayed, but we don't know anything. Oh, We just fall off. Alright, no matter. We're back inside. Betsy is back. Hello, Betsy. Say hello to the fine people looking at our live stream. Today we're expecting a very normal flight, although we might get some icing conditions over in our route. We'll see. Nothing too fancy, too hard, but we might get some. So here we go. So let's cockpit pre-flight. We got a cold and dark cockpit today. So cockpit pre-flight checklist. We got the parking brake set. It's on. Flaps are up. Spoilers are retracted and disarmed. We got weather radar is off, middle position, and the predictive wind shear 2 off. Engine master modes both off. Engine mode selector set normal. Thrust levers are on idle. They are idle. And gear is down and the wipers are off. So cockpit pre-flight checklist complete. And I completely forgot to do something here. Give me a moment. I need to turn on my flight controls, otherwise this will not be a good flight without any power to my flight controls. Stand by. There it is. Doo-doo. You just heard it. Alrighty, alrighty, alrighty. Let's see if we got control now. At least, yeah, here we go. And the rudder pedals. And we got the side stick. Alright, so we're at our flight controls back. Alright, so let's go with cockpit preparation. So battery 1 and 2. External power to on. Let's check the accumulator brake pressure. Parking brakes off. Pedals. Pedal brake done, and parking brake back on. Cockpit lights as required, not required. Instrument display brightness not required. And while the plane's waking up, let's do the APU fire test. It's still loading, so we don't have any oral warnings. We need to wait for the system to properly set up, properly wake up. There it is. So as usual, we got a smoke detection fault. It usually happens. Not sure if this is procedural. It will go away as once we start loading the airplane, but it always shows up like that. So again, APU fire test. So we got bottle discharge, fire, handle lit, and we got ECAM status, APU fire, and master warning. Cruise supply, let's get it to on, as well as ground control. CVR tests. There it is, oral CVR test. ADIRS 1, 2, and 3 set to nav. 2, 3. Set to nav, external lights, wing and nav logo lights to on. Let's position it to 1. No smoking portable devices set both to auto. And emergency lights set to arm. Annunciator check is required. So let's just turn it on. Wow. All lights light up. Looks good. Let's turn it back off. Probe with no heat set to auto. It is on auto. APU available. It's not yet available. AC temperatures as required. ECAM page set to electrical. Let's make the battery tests. And let's turn off battery 1. Off indicator, off. Aircraft maintains power via external power, so we don't have a discharge. Back on and on. Battery 2 off. Battery 2 off. And on again. There it is. Fuel pumps are set off. They're all off. So fire test, engine number 1, fire test 2, discharging squibs, 1 fire handle, left indicator on the engine status, ECAM status, master warning, engine fire number 2, both squibs, fire handle, engine fire on engine status, on engine mode 2, ECAM status, engine 2 fire, master warning, and oral warning for both. Flight directors both set on. Barrow, let's listen to our H's for Nantes Atlantique.
Departing runway 03, transition level 050. Advise on initial contact, you have information, hotel.
We got hotel.
Nantes Airport, information, hotel, 1442 Zulu, wind 050 at 16 gust 27. Visibility 10 miles or more, scattered at 3,300, temperature 07, G.00, QNH 1019er, landing and departing runway 03, transition level 050. Advise on initial contact, you have information, hotel.
Alright.
Nantes Atlantique.
Alright, so we got our QNH 1019er and cross-checked. If is set constrained in 10 nautical miles, constrained 10 nautical miles, and arc on both. It is arc. So FCU, we are not going to set up the FCU just yet because we need performance. Set up the radius is already done. MCU data. So let's set up our MCDU. So first things first, let's load the flight plan. So we still don't have INS yet, but no big deal. So we will request initiation. That will give us flight plan data. There it is. We are going from Nantes to Lisbon Airport. Our flight today will be TAP Portugal 77 Yankee. So TP 77 Yankee, and we got cost index of 5, typical for TAP Portugal actually, and we're gonna have a cruise altitude of flight level 370. Bam. Alright. As for the flight plan itself, it's already been loaded. We just need to request clearance, and in the meantime let's request boarding through our aircraft and GSX. There it is, flight plan loaded, mass and balance, load aircraft, boarding only, instant fueling. There it is. So the stairs are already connected and boarding has been requested. So again, let's go to the MCDU. Let's request, first of all, let's request CPDLC clearance. No. Let's go to the ETSU, AOC, flight initiation, and here we go. So we're going to request it. So INS is almost lined up, 4 minutes to go. Here we go. We got our flight plan requested. Now let's go for ATC pre-departure clearance. We are at gate number, good question, gate number 4. We got hotel, and this is LFRS as our station. Then let's send. So it's going to take a moment. We're going to continue on with our preparation. We're going to wait for the IFR clearance. Also waiting for the IRS to align so we can review the flight plan, as well as get our squawk codes and all that. Just going to confirm it actually requested. It did. Now just waiting for the plane to respond. So here are our passengers. It's a walk-in terminal. Again, my jetways are somehow not loading, so there should be a jetway here connecting to the plane. Not sure what happened. There should be another one there where that square is. Some issues.
Alpine 35 Victor Alpha, ready to taxi to the active.
Abraço, José, obrigado. Welcome, José, from Airport Wings, our good friend José. Great spotter, one of the greatest spotters in Lisbon Airport. Passengers are coming in right now. You can also open the door. They will not show up. This is just the way GSX designs things, so they will not show up. They will just pretend to go pretend to sit, and then they will magically show up set. Oh, look at that. We got the TAP Portugal stewardess uniform. Nice. Or flight attendant. We can't say stewardess anymore. So, loading the airplane, still waiting for that clearance. Let's go to received messages. So the load sheet, preliminary load sheet is in. We don't really care for that. We just need the final one. Clearance request received, standby. So, where is it? I know where it is. It's just taking their sweet time for the plane to respond, but I already received it via Beyond ATC, so I already got it right here. So cleared for Lisbon Airport, runway 03 departure via Eric for November. Squawk 1262. AT's hotel, when ready, call 121655. If unable, revert to voice. Alright, so our squawk is 1262, sorry. 1262. Oh, need to clear 1262. And we got our clearance via runway 03. And we are taking the Sid Eric for November. Not this one. Eric for November, there it is. No transitions temporarily. So we got upgraded GPS. Still no ATC. Oh, there's a new subscriber here. Thank you for your subscription. The name didn't show up though, so I apologize for that. Alright. Olá, Rogério. Tudo bom para ti também? Abraço. Leandro Martinelli, thank you for your subscription. Now I can see your name. Sorry about that. So, here we go. Still waiting for the passengers to load. We still don't have... I wonder why. Let's see. So... this one is correct. ATC requests. I'm gonna try again. Gate 4. We got hotel. And LFRS. And send.
Alpine 35 Victor Alpha, contact Hotel 118.65.
Contact Tower 118.65, Alpine 35 Victor Alpha.
So Beyond ATC is receiving the request, and I'm getting a response, but it's not coming to the plane itself. Not sure why. So yet another bug. So got the first bug was the jetways that aren't being drawn for some reason. Oh well, it is what it is. We got our clearance, we got our flight plan, no worries. And we can already set for the arrival, which should be runway 02, if I'm not mistaken. So routing, yep, runway 02 via inbound to Alpha. So inbound to Alpha, and we all know what transition this will be. It will be PSEX, correct, insert. We got a flight plan fully set up. Alright, aircraft has been loaded, so we can already go check our weights and balance. So we got 7,300 kilograms of fuel for this trip. We got 172 passengers loaded. So we get sent to MCDU. Let's go to performance, departure. So let's sync and sync, calculate. So we got V1 145, VR 145, V2 146, flaps 1 down 0.3 as trim, and flaps temperature 63. We got transition altitude at 5,000 feet. So we're gonna go retract our flaps at 150 knots. Seems about right. So we are going for, it's calculating the intersection. Oh, there is no intersection, all right. But we can set the intersection for, yeah, no, we only got full length, so no intersection set for this airport. This is a very small airport anyway. Obrigado, Rogério. Felicidades para vocês todos. Vamos fazer isto o mais suave possível, mesmo com bugs aqui a acontecer, mas pronto, é o costume. Alright, let's open this one and this one. We are good to go. So let's request. First of all, let's continue our checklist. So MCDU data check, MCDU setup check, RadNav. We are IFR clearance received, IRS align has been done, flight plan has been reviewed, FE's nav aids, I just turned them on my side, let's turn on for Betsy here, and squawk has been set, cockpit preparation complete. Let's go for pre-start checklist. APU master is on, APU start, 1, 2, 3, there it goes, let's lower the... We got MCDU weights have been inserted, takeoff performance have been set, so let's go for the V speeds. Send to MCDU. There they are, 145, 145, 146, flaps 1 down 03, flex temperature 63 confirmed. Just gonna wait for the APU to power on. We can already request beyond ATC to start clearing the plane. And we do that by turning on the beacon. Yes, no, maybe. Yes, no, maybe. Maybe not. Let's try again. Back off, back on. We got APU bleed already? Apparently not. This livery is texture is inverted. Alright, so GSX is not cooperating today, so yeah, we are going to need to turn off external power and seatbelt signs. Ah, there it is. So probably needs to, we need to turn off the external power before we can request pushback. And there's our gate agent. She looks familiar. Is she your sister, Betsy? You never told me you got French family. Hmm? No? Nah. Alright, so we're just gonna wait for... bypass pin has been inserted. So windows and doors, let's close our flight deck door. No passengers inside, as you can see. And let's lock that door. Windows, gray, red band. Fuel pump set to on. Beacon is already on. Steering pin has been inserted. Set transponder to auto. Ooh, too much. TCAS to standby, as it is. And let's run the clock as soon as we start pushing back. Let's request a pushback then. So stand by, I'm gonna request it first. So beyond ATC, request, push and start.
Air Portugal 77 Yankee, ramp for request pushback and engine start. Air Portugal 77 Yankee, non-ground, pushback and engine start approved. Face southeast.
Southeast.
Pushback and engine start approved. Face southeast. Air Portugal 77 Yankee.
So, good question. Nose. So, southeast is to my left. So, nose left. That's my best bet. Parking brake's been released. Here we go. TCAS set standby. Clock to run. Parking brake unlocked. And let's start number 1.
Cabin crew, arm doors and cross-check.
Oh, nice. I like her voice. Don't you like her voice? Engine 1's pulling. Let's get some better
Ladies
back.
and gentlemen, please observe the cabin crew member closest to you as we are about to demonstrate the safety
Too loud.
features of our Airbus A320 aircraft. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard our Airbus A320. Please pay attention to the
Available. Start number 2.
instructions, including the following safety procedures. The safety card found in your seat pocket contains important information about exit routes, oxygen levels, life jackets, and the brace position.
Just gonna go outside for a moment for you guys to take a good gander at our A320 while it starts the engine.
Immediately behind you. Emergency lighting will guide you to an exit. In an emergency, leave all baggage on board. Your seatbelt is fastened and adjusted.
There we go. Number 1 started. Waiting for the available note.
We recommend that you keep it fastened at all times.
There it is. Engine set back to normal. APU bleed to off. APU master switch off. Engine mode selector is set. Anti-ice. What's our OAT? 7 degrees, no icing, no humidity either, so we're good to go. Parking brakes have been set. We got a good engine start. We're gonna call it in. Good engine start.
Ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Let's get this to the left side as usual. Before taxi checklist, auto brake set to max. Spoilers armed. Flaps set for takeoff, so I'm going to set flaps 1. Engine anti-ice not required. Flight controls, let's check them out. Full deflection left. Neutral. Full deflection right. Neutral. Full pitch up. Neutral. Full pitch down. Neutral. Full rudder left. Neutral. Full rudder right. Neutral. Flight controls have been checked. Pitch trim set 0.1. 0.3 actually. There it is. 0.3. And we got our before taxi checklist complete. Let's just reset the rudder trim. And we're just waiting for the nose wheel steering pin and request taxi for the active as soon as that happens. There she goes. So steering pin removed. Let's go for the we get some messages here. Let's check them out. Probably the final load sheet. Yeah, we got the second pre-departure clearance, but system just didn't register. Compliant. Alright, we got 172 plus 5 copy. Let's go back to flight plan. Alright, we're good to go. Ready to taxi. Let's just request taxi to runway.
Air Portugal 77 Yankee, request taxi to the active. Air Portugal 77 Yankee, runway 03 taxi via Romeo Charlie, Romeo 2 Romeo, Romeo 1 Alpha. Runway 03 taxi via Romeo Charlie, Romeo 2 Romeo, Romeo 1 Alpha, Air Portugal 77 Yankee.
So it's basically go forward, turn left at Romeo 2, then Romeo 3, actually Romeo 1, and then hold short at Alpha. So let's go forth and then right on this lane there. Or, wait, hold on. It wants me to go via RC, so we need to turn left right now and then turn there. Alright, let's go do that. Parking brake off. Let's perform the taxi checklists. Nose light to taxi. When we turn off. Strobes set to auto. Parking brake is off. Takeoff config checked.
Be advised, information, Indian now current, GNH 1019.
Confirm that's not a runway, this is a taxiway parallel to the runway. The taxi checklist complete.
Cabin crew seats checked.
Cabin's ready. So we're going to go here through Romeo 2. It's quite a cozy airport. Small, but big enough to accommodate Airbuses and Boeings. Narrow body Airbuses and Boeings. Not. I wanted to take the A340 today, but I couldn't take them out of Nantes. It's just too small. And these taxiways are just too small for that big airplane, and there's no actual gate for it. Although I believe there's a ramp here for large aircraft, but not going to take any chances. So we're just running through the before takeoff checklist real quick before we perform it. Cabin crew has been notified. External lights, nose wheel lights, anti-ice not required. PACS, TCAS, weather radar, predictive wind shear, weather mode, and takeoff memo no blue. Okay. Let's turn on our radar for now. Predictive wind shear. Still on taxi lights. I'm gonna hold on Alpha down the lane. We don't need TCAS for now. It looks like we are rolling sideways, doesn't it? Or is it me that I'm sitting sideways? No, look at that. The camera perspective looks weird. So this is right on the line, and maybe it's my track IR. Yeah, definitely my track IR. Alright, now it's better. Oh, much better. Alright. So, sun come out to greet us. Some clouds. We're expecting some icing conditions in flight, but that's a bridge we'll cross once we reach it, like I usually say. Betsy's short-sleeved, so it's not that cold. So coming up on our holding point on Alpha. Guys, if you're into this flight simming thing, thank you so much for your subscription. Thank you so much for sharing as well with your friends. Your like in this video is also very appreciated. And if you feel like donating, I have a buy me a coffee link on your upper right screen with the QR code, or you can check the link on the description as well as our chat. Once in a while, my Nightbot just fails.
Contact Nantes 118.65, bye bye.
Going for tower.
Portugal 77 Yankee.
Let's hold right here. There's no midpoint holding, just here on Alpha. We're just going to check everything down. So we got before takeoff checklist, cabin crew notified. Let's do that. External lights, we're going to turn on the landing lights in a moment, as well as set nose wheel steering to takeoff. NTI is not required. PACs both on. TCAS above. TARA, so it's already set above. TARA set. Weather radar is on. Predictive wind shear is on. Weather mode as required. Takeoff memo, no blue. We're cleared for the takeoff. Right, let's call it in.
Air Portugal 77 Yankee, holding short, runway 03. Air Portugal 77 Yankee, non tower, wind 050 at 18 gust 29 runway 03, cleared for takeoff. Runway 03 cleared for takeoff. Air Portugal 77 Yankee.
Here we go. Let's do it from the outside view. It's not something I usually do, but for your viewing pleasure today, let's do just that. Just follow the yellow line and line up with runway 03. Brings memories, right? Because in Lisbon we used to have 03 to 1 as runways. Then magnetics changed. All right, we're good to go. Let's go. 50%. Stabilized. Release. Flex 63, SRS runway. Airspeed alive, by the way. $100. V1, rotate. Positive rate, gear up. Whoa, what the heck happened? Oh, my bad. Here we go.
Squawk 1262. Squawk 1262 at Portugal 77 Yankee.
My bad. I pressed the wrong button. Gear up. Don't worry. That was clearly my bad. Speed check flaps up. I'll explain what happened. So she says the transponder is not set. So why? One two six two. It's on auto and TARA. So what's the deal here? Set on auto. Set above. TARA 1262. Oh well. After takeoff checklist, gear is retracted, flaps are up, spoilers are disarmed, thrust set to climb. Auto throttle was not connected, now it is. Autopilot as required, nose wheel steering lights and runway. And taxi lights off. QNH set standard. And cross-checked. Alright, what happened there back there? Basically, I have two buttons, one for gear up and the other button, which I programmed some time ago, was to activate reversers. Now, Flight Simulator is very aggressive with this reverser button, and instead of just understanding that I was flying and therefore I could not engage the reversers, it just forced the gear lever into the reverse section. And I don't know why the Fenix accepted it, but maybe it's an FS 2024 thing. So you might imagine once you engage after the takeoff roll or during the takeoff roll, if you engage reversers, the airplane will assume that you're aborting takeoff. After takeoff, though, it should not allow you to do anything. I mean, physically, I think you can place your levers into the reverse section. Not sure about the real aircraft, but you should be able to, because that's going to deploy the reversers, and that's going to be a mess. The reverse panes. So what happened was that I pressed the wrong button, and was totally my bad. But you know, nothing fancy. I think the passengers back there didn't notice anything. 10,000 feet. External lights, landing lights off. Wing lights to off, although some companies do keep them on during the entirety of the flight. And seatbelt signs as required. Let's get to the top of climb first. So we're departing France. We're still in Brest control. We're going to be handed over to Brest control. So this is where we are right now. The little yellow plane. This is the Brest area. That's why I was saying we're going to get handed over to Brest in a moment. But we're still under non-departure. So I still didn't receive that CPDLC message. I wonder if there's something changed. There was an update not that long ago. Maybe something changed here. What can I do here? Maybe it needs to be logged on? I don't know. So is there anything I can do? Data link config? Simbrief, alright, that's my Simbrief name. Nothing here to perform. There's no log being logged. This is where I was at, so maybe maintenance? No. FMS reset, let's not do that right now. What about D82? There we go, into Brest. Probably getting the next altitude as well. Three 370. So, as you can see, no weather, significant weather. We just needed to, we're currently outside, we got an ISA deviation of -3 degrees, so it is freezing point, but there's no humidity. We will continue to monitor this. That's pretty much the only thing that I can predict we could have about. Let's turn off the seatbelt signs, allow passengers to circulate. So we're gonna go through Timor and Eriga. This is probably one of the last few major turns. Then it's all the way down to Galicia and then Lisbon. Actually, I don't think we're gonna cross Galicia. I confirm that before I say something that not sure. Yeah, more or less Galicia. So we're gonna, Galicia is right here, so just to the right of Galicia, but we're gonna fly straight down to Lisbon, which is always a good go. But let's freeze my track IR so I can move around freely. And let's enjoy this flight. And yeah, let's just filter the ATC comms. Look at that. Never gets old, does it? Beautiful plane. Beautiful sun. Beautiful daylight. That's why we love planes, right? It's for these moments. I mean, we wish we were sitting right here or right here, enjoying the view. I can actually put you guys there for a moment. So if I go to default, no, where is that? No, I need to go back to cockpit, and then if I go to cabin window left, forward. Look at that. How amazing is that? Or we can go to the right as well. So maybe sit in the right middle so we can look at that. So here we are. We can enjoy the flight just like a passenger would. Can't close the binders though. The blinds, I mean. This is the emergency exit door, by the way. So it's you're gonna get better seat, your footrests, leg room. That's what I meant. You're gonna get better leg room if you sit in this seat. The only difference between this seat and the others is that you got the exit door right here. So you need to pull this down. There's instructions right here. So you pull this down, remove it completely, then pull the lever in, and just take the door out somewhere, and I think you can push it outwards. At least it looks like that. So yeah, and you can grab it through here. So the door itself becomes detached. And of course, while the other blinds come down, this one goes up. That's the only difference. Plus you got lots of leg room. Look at that. So I prefer that. Bad thing about these planes is that there's no IFA, no IFE, no in-flight entertainment, which is a bummer, but I think TAP Portugal is now equipping all their aircraft with IFE, because this one really doesn't have anything. But anyway, let's enjoy a little bit of outside view, and I'll be right back. And I'm back. Just in time to chat a little bit about what I just did. I was preparing my approach to Lisbon, so setting up the weather for Lisbon. This is something you can do throughout the flight. There's no actual timing to do so, but it is preferable that you do it closer to the airport because the weather tends to change. We are not expecting that much of a change over time, but especially if the METARs say no sig, so no significant change, but still you should pay attention to the weather as close to the airport as you can. Of course, after some time you're just so filled up with work that you're not going to constantly check on the weather, but it is a good practice to constantly checking on the weather as well as much as you can. We're going to Madrid Center now. We are on the threshold for the, yeah, there it is, the boundary for the Madrid Center. Here we are. So Madrid Center controls this sector here. It makes border with Portugal. And they also have this other sector that is controlled by Seville or Seville. And Seville is somewhere over here, and it controls this airspace, while Madrid controls this huge airspace, much bigger airspace. There are two ways on the Fenix A320 to get your weather. You can either request weather for Lisbon, as I'm going to do now. This is going to be via ACARS. So I'm going to request the METAR and the TAF and send. And the other way to do it is coming here to the electronic flight bag, Fenix, and there you have it. You have the departure and arrival. You can also refresh the arrival data. And apparently this one is being updated correctly. There should be a new one at 1400 Zulu, sorry, 1600 Zulu. But as we saw in the last flight with the PMDG 737, I wouldn't rely on these METARs because I don't know where they're fetching them, but they seem to have an issue. They don't get updated that frequently. The best way to do is coming here to your electronic flight bag and request the METAR directly from the flight plan. Which is something you can do, of course, only if you have a subscription, I think, with Navigraph, but I'm not sure, actually. But anyway, you can set up your Simbrief username, and of course, I have a subscription for Navigraph. It's not really that expensive. It's about 15 euros a month. You might say, well, that's expensive for me. Fine. I think it's quite cheap for what it does, because it not only gives you the ability to create realistic flight plans with the latest ARACs, it also gives you the entirety of the charts. So you can consult your charts. So you can come here, and this is my flight plan. And you can see I got a UFP, just like you usually do with Simbrief. And you can also get some charts with the Simbrief, but they'll be outdated. So we got the latest ARAC loaded. And as you go here with the, well, I don't want to open the browser, but how do you do that? There's a way to consult the charts in this EFB, this electronic flight bag. Although, there it is. Now this is just the maps, but you can get the Japson flight charts fully unlocked for the entire world, and that's a good thing for 15 euros a month. You can see it here, but if you come to most payware planes, you can not only see your IFR chart, you can also load the high airways, all that. That's one thing, but better than that, is that you can come here to this folder and you can see all the airport charts from Jepsen. This is not like facsimile. This is actually a copy from the real life charts, although they say it's not intended for simulation because there could be some minor differences, but you can get pretty much what real pilots get. So these are all the this is a, what is this? This is an RNAV departure for Lisbon Airport. I actually follow IXITA quite a few times. You also get updated, and well, this one's from May 19, 2022, but there's been no difference in the airport layout since then. But if there is, you get it sooner than you would get by going online and trying to download the individual charts. Also, you get a third-party, well, not a third-party, a first-party app for Windows, Android, or iPhone that will replicate your flights, give you the entirety of the charts and databases, as well as the entirety of real-life flights that you can perform there. It's actually pretty neat. It even gives you the weather, gives you the actual current weather around the world, and you can actually see radar imaging as well. Hello, Andrew. Welcome back. I'm sorry, I got a bit of a stuffed nose today. Oh, you can see snow there. It's been quite cold in my country, Portugal. It's been also very cold in the entirety of Europe, but France, Spain, and Portugal have been hit by this very cold wave. And yeah, there's no peaks. I believe this is, yeah, this is already Spain, of course. We're coming in on Spain. We're already on Spanish airspace. And yeah, I was expecting some cold. So ISA is -9. This is the ISA deviation. This is temperature standard. So it's hard to explain because I don't really know how to explain that well, but basically the outside temperature will always go like -66 degrees Celsius. This is a standard altitude. So yeah, it will go cold overflow in flight. But if you have condensation, so let's say at this altitude there was humidity, which is hard to happen, but let's say it could happen. You can have freezing water, and so the only way to see it is if you have an ISA deviation or negative temperature. There's a nice warning being issued right now, but in order to have actual ice, you need water, and in order to have water, of course, you need condensation in some sort, humidity most likely, or even rain. But passing through the clouds, you have to pay attention to your outside temperature, and of course some planes are equipped with ice detection systems, so you can activate your ice detection. And some planes, this one I believe does not have, so you got engine anti-ice, wing anti-ice, and if it doesn't detect any ice, it will say no ice detected, and you can turn it off. Again, I'm pretty sure this plane does not have it. Actually, we can confirm that right now. We can go here to settings, sim settings, and where is that? This is airframe, ADIRS, of course, DDRMI, airline modifiable information. I believe this is a dual ice advisory detection, alright? So we can turn it on just for the sake of having ice detected. The plane does warn if there's ice detected, mainly on the engine nacelles and the wings, the front wings. It could happen. And if that, of course, happens, you can always turn on the anti-ice, but no point adding anti-ice because it if there's no ice detected. Olá, Leandro. O voo de Nantes para Lisboa não existe direto. Não. So now that we have the ice detectors, if it's not detecting ice, we can just turn off. Why? Because this brings stress to the system, because it's based on hot air being blown in through the wings and the engine nacelles, and if there's no ice being formed, we don't need to spend that much fuel. So Betsy's in a good mood. Let's just look at outside. Look at the mountains outside. Look at that, the frozen peaks over there. Like I was saying, Portugal was hit with a cold wave last Sunday. We had snow in some areas. Currently, it's only snowing above 1,000 feet. Sorry, 1,000 meters. It's snowing at above 1,000 meters. That's what I meant. But you can see that the clouds are creeping in. This is the northern area of Spain, and Portugal is also expected to have. Let's clear this so we can get our clearance in a moment. I believe these winglets are not correct. I believe they should start somewhere where my mouse pointer is. It's not good, but it's been like that since ever in the Fenix default paint jobs. So, thanks, Andrew. So Leandro was asking if this flight exists, like Air Portugal coming out of Nantes to Lisbon. No, there is no direct flight that I know of. I usually fly where I've been and where I would like to be. Sometimes I create these fictional flights, but the procedures are realistic as much as I know. It's only the flight numbers and the flight themselves. But I did perform some real-life flights with the real-life direct routes. This one is not in existence simply because there is no feeding. Well, there might be a Portuguese community in Nantes. I'm sure, but Air Portugal prefers to fly direct to, I believe, Bordeaux, Paris, and where was it? Toulouse. I think there's a flight to Toulouse as well. So Bordeaux and Paris for sure. Paris or Orly for sure. But Nantes is like French. It's like a French destination. Alright, so we are almost entering Portuguese airspace. We're still in Spanish airspace, so we're about to hit our top of descent probably in the next 100, so it's 180, but 200. Yeah, there it is. So about 180, 190, 200 nautical miles will start descending. That's almost when we will be entering the Portuguese border. And yes, Nightbot is right. Guys, remember, leave a like, subscribe, share the video with your friends if you think they will appreciate it. I do flight simulation flights for you know, for fun, most of all, but also to explain whatever I can explain, and try to be as thorough as I can, following the checklists, helping you guys fly the plane. I've already helped a few people actually learning how to fly. It's just something I like to do because, you know, I've lived in aviation for a long time now, almost 30 years, maybe more, flying not flying as a pilot, but working with simulation, flight training, and most recently with leisure simulation. So it's my work to be a simmer. So I'm a simmer for a life, for a living. Not a lot of people can say that, but not here. I work for a company in flight simulation, but I don't earn any money with from YouTube. If you're wondering, not only this channel is not monetized, but YouTube demands that we have a certain size to start monetizing. So if you guys don't know, anything below 500 likes, subscriptions, YouTube doesn't qualify you to, uh, get monetized. So I don't earn money from this directly. I do, however, get some donations via Buy Me a Coffee, as you can see in your QR code on your upper right screen. That's where my low, meager income comes, but that's enough for me to purchase the next add-ons. So I've purchased the Airbus A320 from Unibuilds. It was quite expensive, but I purchased it. I also purchased a couple of airports to fly in and out, and most recently I purchased the upgrade for the PMDG 737. And that allows me to keep the content flowing, and I'm very appreciative of people that do help the channel by donating. You don't have to, but if you feel like it, there's a QR code in the upper right screen. There's also a link in the description, and there's a link also in the chat, pinned to the chat. Hello Mircha, thank you so much for your wishes. Yeah, I really wish there were more subscribers. I really wish that the channel could grow. But like I was saying the other day to Andrew here, and he's my witness, he can say that I did say that. I'm very comfortable with 300 subscribers. My goal was to reach 100, and here I am at 300. So I'm very happy with what I got. I'm not a very ambitious guy. I just like people to enjoy. I got 300 people that seem to enjoy, and I'm very appreciative of their coming here, leaving a like, subscribing, and once in a while, if they wish to, donate. But again, it's not something I'm expecting. Anything that comes from donations from Buy Me a Coffee is a plus. I just love my audience. I love you guys, and I really appreciate you being here, and I hope I live up to your expectations, because flight simulation, if you're not doing it, can be very boring. I know. I try to make it as fun as I can. A few jokes. I mean, Betsy loves my jokes, don't you, Betsy? Huh? Yeah, she doesn't like my jokes, so she doesn't talk to me. She just talks to the ATC. That's pretty good. And she has a beautiful English UK accent. And she hates my guts. Yeah, talking about you, Betsy. Do you hate me? She does. Look at that, she even turns her head away. But she's a good co-pilot, at least talking in the radio. Hello, boa tarde, spotter Tom Farr. Boas tardes. So, after the next steer point, which is Batax, we're gonna get our clearance somewhere around 100 nautical miles probably. And that's when we're gonna start preparing the plane for descent. So, yeah. So, the text bar on the top of your screen should give you the flight progression in percentage, but I can't really read it. I might have to change the font, because I can't really read it. It's too bright. But we're more than halfway. We've passed our equal time point. So we are going to the equal time point is where you decide whether to continue forth or go back to the origin, if of course you can't land anywhere else. I've already explained what it does multiple times, but basically when you reach the ETP, equal time point, you can either go forth until you reach it. You might as well go back if you don't have any alternate airport nearby and you still have fuel to do so. But once you reach ETP and cross it, then it's preferable to go to the destination. This is of course more useful for destinations that have no alternate airports during flight. So let's say I'm flying over the ocean to Madeira Island. There's no alternates directly out of Lisbon to Madeira. So if I reach ETP and I have an issue that I need to land as fast as I can, then it's preferable before I reach the ETP to go back to Lisbon, or if I pass the ETP point, I'll just fly direct to Madeira. So we crossed that 50%. I thought this was Betsy replying. We're still in Madrid Center. So we're almost crossing the Spanish-Portuguese border. There it is. So we're what's the name of that steer point? Batax. It's right here. Batax. So before we reach Batax, we'll get a handover, and probably right after we'll get our clearance to descend and our approach briefing. But we can't really say. So as you can see, there's a white mantle in northern Spain because of that cold front I was talking about. Actually, the temperature is now a little bit better. It's now -7 deviation. So ISA deviation is cold, but not as cold as we were expecting, which is good and bad. It's good for the flight, bad for the viewership, because people like to see stuff happening, right? Oh, no ADC required. Nice. And we got our weather data for Lisbon. So here we go. Lisbon Airport METAR. That's from 1530. All right, that's updated. So 040 at 8 knots. No, no visual restrictions. So it's 9999 means that its visibility is 10 nautical miles or more. Actually, 10 statute miles or more. Few clouds at 2200. Temperature 2.07. QNH 1009er. All right, and the predictions. So predictive right from 11 Zulu today, from 24 to 25. So from today to tomorrow, there should be a 060 at 7 knots. Again, no significant visibility restrictions. Clouds scatter at 2,500, becoming... Actually, this is incomplete. This is incomplete. So, well, at least we know that the weather is not too deviant from what we programmed initially. But we'll still consult the METAR from our trusted electronic flight bag up here. So let's do that again. So populate from last flight, search, let's move it over here. So there is Lisbon, and yeah, it's pretty much the same, 12 degrees, 050 at 7, so the wind's a bit milder now. So you see how important it is to come back here once in a while and check the weather again. The QNH is the same, 1009er. But as you can see, there is no SIG like we had in Nantes. Actually, there is no SIG. When the weather is not expected to change that much. We're going to Lisbon Center now. So we're about to get our IFR clearance. Weather conditions in Lisbon are VFR. Our transition altitude will be 4,000 as usual. And yeah, so here's the correct METAR. So it wasn't complete, it was missing this whole thing down here. So it was only parsed up to this point here. So again, 06087, which is the current, probably 050060. This was a prediction from 1100 hours Zulu. So it's becoming 340 at 7, few clouds 1800, then becomes variable between 2 o'clock in the morning and 4 o'clock in the morning. So this is how you read it. It's the 25, December 25, at 2 o'clock, then 4 o'clock, then 9 o'clock, then 11 o'clock. And as you can see, no significant weather is predicted. And yeah, we got our ATs from eval. So Lisbon Tower information Charlie. Not sure if this corresponds with flight sim, but let's take it. So 0408, so it's outdated. This was from 1530, so it's 1548, so it's outdated. Few clouds 22, QNH is the same. Arrival runway 02, departing runway 02, so still going for runway 02. Vacate on Hotel 4. Confirm ATIS information Charlie on initial contact. So we are hoping to vacate via Hotel 4. Let's take a look at where Hotel 4 is. So just for your information, I know this airport from the inside out. This is just for you guys. So we're landing on runway 02. And it's telling us, instead of going to uniform 5, which is usually where Beyond ATC will tell me to depart the runway, it's telling us to go to Hotel 4, and this is always the one I pick. Why? Because this is a high-speed exit, so you can come down here at below, more or less, around 80 knots. You can start decelerating within the taxiway. It's a high-speed taxiway. Uniform 5 is not, so you need to halt your progression in the runway to turn to 05 because of the 90-degree angle turn, but not on Hotel 4. You can easily stop the plane within the taxiway to the right and then hold short of Uniform 4 right here, this one here. So yeah, but that's the eval request. That's a virtual organization for ATC. We're not flying with them today, but we'll still get it. We'll get there. Right now, what we need is our clearance, and we're about 40 miles or so from ATC giving us our clearance. So we're just waiting for that. So we're still cruising, although we're already in Portuguese airspace. We are still cruising, and we're going to get our approach from inbound all the way down here, then go into the half semicircle, half banana, whatever you want to call it, and then turn it to land on 02. So there's inbound. That's the first steer point on this approach plate. It's a star standard arrival procedure, and then we'll go to ILS runway 02. This shouldn't be a Cat 2 or Cat 3, just standard ILS approach, Cat 1. And we'll make it a visual approach if we can, as we always do. Not a visual approach, but a manual approach, that's what I meant. So guys, if you just joined us, we took off from Nantes Atlantique in France, and we're approaching Lisbon. We're now in the northern area of Lisbon. There's some turbulence at this altitude. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention that, but I did notice it. we have a very strong tailwind that will give us a nice boost, as you will see in a moment. So yeah, we got 44 minutes of flight. We are currently no, sorry, I'm completely messed up. What I mean is we got an extra 1.5 tons of 1.5 tons of fuel and extra 44 minutes. That's what I meant. Extra 44 minutes of flight, all because of this wind that's giving us a nice little boost. As we go to the flight plan, we're expecting to arrive at 1707 UTC. So this number will probably change over time, but in less than 40 minutes, I would say. So, and that's because we need to go all the way down south and then turn back because of the approach for runway 02. But yeah. Yeah, Andrew, Mirsha, how are you guys? How is Jose? How is Pater Tomfar? How is Leandro Airbus? How's Rogério Silvestre? How is everybody? Nobody's talking in the chat. Come on, guys. Mirsha and Andrew are good mods. They won't bite. So hoping to get our clearance anytime. We had a couple of bugs in the beginning of the stream. There was no jetways on Nantes, and I hope there's jetways on Lisbon. There was also an issue with CPDLC, so I requested CPDLC, but it never came through in my well, to the plane itself. It never arrived. Something with the connection between Fenix and Beyond ATC. I will not stress over it too much. It's not important to our flight. We can easily do that by voice if we feel like it. But once you request CPDLC of this aircraft or any aircraft that's compatible with Beyond ATC, there is a chat window on Beyond ATC application itself, and it will give you the clearance, written clearance, before it sends to the plane. The fact that it didn't come to the plane is irrelevant because I got the clearance anyway. But as you can see here, there's something more going on because currently I still can request IFR clearance in flight, although it gave me electronically. So I think it's a Beyond ATC issue, not really a Fenix issue. So because they did update recently, but I don't think they touched the CPDLC. So guys, 2026 will be a very exciting year for simulation. There's going to be a lot of planes coming in. We're going to have the the L1011 TriStar from Unibuilds. We're going to have the A330 from A340 600 and A330 Neo from Aerosoft eventually. We are also going to have the Boeing 747 from PNVG. We are also going to get the other variants of the 737, the 600, 700, and 900, but that's like an add-on. It's not a real, not like a new plane. Headwind is also preparing a huge update for the A330-900, their own Neo, freeware Neo, as well as the other aircraft they got, the Russian Sukhoi aircraft. We're also going to get fly-by-wire updating their A380 with some new stuff in it, minor stuff. They keep working on that aircraft, bringing it to a new standard. What else? Flight Sim Labs, of course, will update. Oh, there we go. That's what we got, except. So it's confirmed we got our clearance for inbound 2 Alpha, which is exactly what we had planned. There it is, inbound 2 Alpha via PASX. That's the only transition we got there, so it's good to go. So we're coming up on our top of descent, and we'll go manage descent as usual. And as you can see, because we have to go all the way south and turn, make like a teardrop turn,
Lisbon Centre, Easy 9002. Good afternoon. Flight level 270.
Easy 9002 from Lisbon.
so here we go, preparing our descent in a moment. So what do I do? Manage descent? Well, basically I want to see the planes performing the descent, but most pilots, as a rule of thumb, will descend at their own in manual or open descent. Why? Well, you can control the descent your way, and since the Fenix flight model is a bit shallow on the approaches, the approach performance might get you above your desired altitude. So once we get a descent altitude, you might want to push this this knob here, at descent to your own cadence or your own fruition. But we are going to descend with managed descent for now. So let's call ready for descent. We're more or less 10 nautical miles in, so let's turn on the seatbelt signs. Whoops. Yes, that's what I was going to do. So, Betsy, do tell them to...
Mach 2 Alpha 902. Call 1 ready. Air Portugal 77 Yankee.
And... almost there. You can descend at any moment. This is just a suggestion, more or less. But it will give you the optimum performance if you get to that little line, the white line, the top of descent line. So I'm just waiting as much as I can to start descending, but you know, Beyond ATC will be quite insistent that we call when ready for descent, so I'll just allow it to get there. And after this I'll call descent, ready for descent. There we go, call ready.
Air Portugal 77 Yankee. Approaching our top of descent. Ready for launch.
So I'll predict it's flight level 290. Yeah, there it is. Because that's the next level constraint. So you select the altitude and then press it. There it is. You push it in to go manage descent. Here's the thing. The Airbus is a very aerodynamically stable aircraft, and it will require that you help it descend to keep on the same profile, because it tends to accelerate quite a bit. When that happens, you will have a notification above the PFD saying more drag, and also on the CDU. If that happens, you need to deploy your spoilers or speed brakes. Descent checklist. MCDU landing performance has been reviewed. TCAS set to below. Always good to set to below. There it is. Approach briefing. Do you want us to do the briefing, Betsy? I'm talking. Oh my God, what an attitude. Nav aids have been reviewed. Anti-ice. Well, so far so good. And the ISO deviation is +5. Whoa, that's a change. So, probably not necessary. Seatbelt signs have been turned on, and descent checklist above the line complete. So now we just need to wait. Below the line there are two entries. One is barrel reference at transition level, and the other is below 10,000 feet, whichever comes first. In this case it will be below 10,000 feet and then barrel reference at transition altitude. So as you can see, not as thick as in Spain, but Portugal is also under a white blanket. And it's a cloud blanket, not snow, but still. Now that I think of it, I think I only landed in FS 2024. I think I only landed once with ice conditions, and that's when we flew to Nuuk. All the other times there were snow pads, but there was no icing. I do like operating with ice because you get to de-ice the plane and all that, which is something that you don't usually do. Our little plane is entering the chart here. Let's zoom in to look at our plane. There it is. As usual, because this half moon turn tends to be a little exhaustive, as soon as we, whoops, no, there it is. It's going to pass behind us. And we are descending, so it's below 1,100 feet, but it's going to pass behind. I think. And we're turning. Yeah, it's clear conflicts, already white. It's going to pass above us, I think. Where is it? Okay. Let's turn on track IR again. Oh, there it is. Oh, sorry. There's the traffic. We need to pay attention. Send 080. And again, manage descent. So we are at co-altitude with that airplane over there, but we're about to descend below them. You can actually see the contrails here. That was scary. So like I was saying, this half moon over here doesn't really need to be followed through completely. You can easily, let's just press the pen here. You can easily, ATC can just tell you to do this. And this is what we're going to request, because Beyond ATC doesn't have the capability. Let's zoom in for you guys just to see what I'm saying. So we can, in real life, ATC will most likely tell the pilots to come out of Masuk direct to Nevad, making something like a turn like this, or direct to PSEX. Very rarely will you perform the entirety of this half moon. What we're going to do is we're going to allow the plane to stabilize, and right after Masuk, I'm going to request to turn direct to Nevad, so that we can shorten this flight a little bit. But we first need to reach 8,000 feet, or flight level 080. This is what we are descending to. So again, managed descent will give you an automated profile. You might want to make your manual or open descent, because you might need to descend or climb, or descend faster or slower. And most likely no pilots will fly managed descent all the way down. Back in the day when I was learning flight simulation, I would always thought, well, I need to follow the charts closely, right? Not exactly. I mean, there are some charts that will say that there are some charts that will say that you need to follow strictly the chart, especially with airports that don't have radar, which is rarer these days, but it does happen. So if you find an airport without radar and you get your flight chart, it will most likely tell you to follow the chart closely. That means that you cannot deviate from the chart route or altitudes. If you do so, you do it at your own risk, of course. But that's because ATC can see where you are exactly, and it will require you to follow this corridor, this pre-established corridor, and report back to them once you cross the steer point. So let's say Lisbon doesn't have a radar. They will tell me to follow this chart closely, and will tell me to report on each waypoint. So let's say I'm passing over Papa Tango 822, I'll just report in Air Portugal 77 Yankee, passing through Papa Tango 822 at 2,400 feet, or 24,000 feet in this case. And that's the way ATC can make like a visual mental mapping of your position because of your report. So in order to be accurate, you really need to fly on these waypoints, and that's usually done with VORs for the sake of having an accurate non-precision flight following. But nowadays with GPS things have become, you know, a little simpler for pilots and ATC, and most countries now, at least in major airports, have radar, and this is no longer actually applicable. Well, generally speaking, of course. I'm pretty sure there are airports out there who still follow this visual for non-precision approaches. That airplane is scaring me because it's following our flight path and it's most likely descending right now. And since our ATC is looking below, we might need to reset this to have our all, because I don't want to get scared any further with that plane, because that traffic warning was a bit scary. You can see it. You can see it. You can't see the plane, but you can see the contrails because it's just above us. Are we making contrails, by the way? No. So. Oh, there's a moon. Look at that. Very small. That's because this camera perspective is a fisheye. As you can see, the tail looks ginormous. It's because it's zooming and distorting as a fisheye. I really miss the FSX and pre-pad 3D camera system. I think MFS screwed that up really bad. We used to have the flyby camera, but it was amazing that we could see the plane flying by. We no longer have that on Flight Simulator. So, nice cloud layer, still sunny. We're now passing or reaching PT 824, so not long now to land. I would say about 15 minutes, maybe less. So guys, please do remember to leave a like, subscribe, share with your friends if you think they'll like it, and also if you want to, you can make a donation via the Buy Me a Coffee link on the description below, as well as in the chat, pinned to the chat. Hero Wings, nice. Ryanair, Hero Wings, yeah. These days, Lisbon is a low-cost paradise. I wonder if Jose is on site to film us arriving, huh? Let's just put this down a little bit. There's only one thing this doesn't do, is it doesn't project the panel to the, like changing the color here. It's completely non-existent as a shadow, but it does cut the glare quite a bit, and you can still see through, and it does perform a good filter. Not perform, I meant it does become a good filter, that's what I meant. My English sometimes slips. I'm not native English, so apologies for some slip-ups. Passing 18,000 feet or flight level 180. Of course, I sometimes do, some other times I do not. You can also extend the threshold of the runway to give you a pretty approach line. So what you do is you come here and, sorry, you need to go to the first one here, fix info, and you say LPPT 02 slash, so it's 025 or 250, sorry, 250 slash, let's say 10 nautical miles. Oh, hold on, I may have screwed that up. LPPT 02, there it is. Oh yeah, a bit different. And now radial, it's 250. And we're gonna say it's 10 nautical miles. And this will draw a line right there, you see. This will draw you a line out of the runway to help you, to guide you towards it. But that's not 250. 205, oh I'm sorry, 205, not 250. What am I saying? There it is. So you can barely see it, but there's a little blue line that comes from the runway threshold to help you and guide you in. So this will help you, telling you two things. One is a 10 nautical mile radius. You can of course change that, but this will correspond with this radius right here. Sorry, not this one. This is the the altitude, minimum altitude thresholds. But you can easily set this up for anything you want. I set it for 10 nautical miles because pretty much at 10 nautical miles you will be visual with the airport and start your descent. But if you want to be even more precise, you can come here to the approach chart and it would tell you that you should be at 4,000 feet over P6, and that's about between, so there it is, it's 11. See there's DME 11. That means that you should be at 4,000 feet at 11 miles. So if you set it for 1-1 instead of 1-0, now you have the point that you can see it coincides with P6 right there. You can see that? It's really on P6 right now. I can't really make more zoom now. So it will be on P6. So if you are at 4,000 feet when you reach this blue dotted circle, then you will be accomplishing the approach correctly. And this is what we're aiming for, at least. So final stretch, remember we're going to request a direct to closer to the approach. So we're going to request right here direct to Nevad so we can make our approach shorter, so we don't have to go to the entirety of the semicircle. That's River Tagus, or Tejo, as we say. And actually, if we were at flight level 080 already, we could request a direct to Nevad out of this steer point, Odlix. But I think that's a little bit too tight. So there's a holding point there. We gotta remove that. Otherwise, they're gonna have trouble. There it is. I'm gonna exit IMM. Exit. So, alright, now it's direct Nivod. Oh, it removed P6? Why? P6. Don't remove P6. Sorry, it's the previous one. Oh, P6 is after Nivod. So, P6.
Air Portugal 77 Yankee. Contact Lisbon arrival 125.13.
Contact Lisbon arrival.
And clear the discontinuity. Insert. Ah, that's better.
Portugal 77 Yankee, flight level 130, we have Lima on board.
Air Portugal 77 Yankee Lisbon.
Yeah, there it is, the P6 transition. We can't go just changing the flight plan to our pleasure. That's Lisbon Airport down there. That's where we're gonna land.
Air Portugal 77 Yankee.
We're still a bit too high, but well, we are descending. That's another club stadium, and that's the glorious Benfica Stadium. That's the 25th April bridge. That's the Vasco da Gama bridge. Born and raised in Lisbon myself. I now live 300 kilometers away, so it's the only way I can visit my town regularly. Yeah, Leandro. Português, Gema. Bem-vindo, Leandro. Obrigado. So we're in the soup, just checking the temperature. So we got a 0 degree outside, so there might be some ice, but oh, soup's closing in. Now we're really inside the soup. I hope there's no ice. I can barely see it, but it doesn't look like there's ice. This is something the pilots can't do, of course. The more they can do is something like this. You can see the tips, but the best thing is the plane's having an ice detection system. Alright, we're coming up on the request direct to fix point that we were talking about earlier. Here we go. So after we cross Mazuk, we'll request a direct to Nivod, yeah. So the plane is plateauing at 10,000 feet because it's trying to recover the managed descent profile. There's another plane above, but is descending, so that's probably the other plane that we were chasing earlier. Always keep an eye on that. If you want to play careful, you can always just reduce your speed. But since we are going to make that request direct to Nivod, we're going to overtake him eventually. Welcome everyone again. Guys, if you like what you see, please help us by liking and subscribing, sharing with your friends, but also if you can, please do consider a donation. Cabin's ready already. All right, they're quite fast. All right, so we're still a bit above the necessary altitude. We need to be at 8,000. That's the constraint right there. We also need to reduce to 220 knots. Until we do that, we can't really request a direct to Nivod because we would be too fast and a bit too high. Well, a bit too fast and a bit too high. So descent checklist below 10,000 feet. Seatbelt signs are on, landing lights are on, and wing lights also on. Descent checklist below the line. We're still missing the barrel to standard at transition, but that will be at 4,000 feet, so we need to come down a little bit more. So white mantle, no snow, just plain old clouds. We will probably only reach 8,000 feet at this steer point here. Whatever comes first, we'll request a turn afterwards. There's the other plane, and it's below us already, so it's descending a bit faster than we are. You still can't see it though. Here we go. Reduce to 220 knots, and we're reaching 8,000 feet, or flight level 080. I usually request direct to at Ernil. That's probably what I'm going to do now, or closer to Ernil at least. That will give us a direct approach to Nevad and then P6, descending to 030, or actually 3,000 feet. Here we go. 8,000, let's request.
Air Portugal 77 Yankee, request direct to fix.
Air Portugal 77 Yankee, roger. Stay fixed name.
So let's zoom down, and where is it? Nevad.
Request direct to Nevad. Air Portugal 77 Yankee.
Air Portugal 77 Yankee, confirm direct to Nevad.
Affirmative.
Air Portugal 77 Yankee.
Air Portugal 77 Yankee, roger. Clear direct to Nevad.
Clear direct to Nevad. Air Portugal 77 Yankee.
Direct to Nevad. Let's go.
Press Mark 982, descend to 3,000 feet.
Oh, there's another plane below us.
3,000 feet. QNH 1009er Express Mark 982.
It's 1,000 feet below us, so no danger.
77 Yankee, descend to 3,000 feet. QNH 1009er.
Descend to 3,000 feet. QNH 1009 Air Portugal 77 Yankee.
So we should be clear of this plane.
Yankee, clear direct Passex, cross Passex at Orbos 3,000 feet. Cleared IL.
All right.
02.
Clear direct Passex, cross Passex above 3,000 feet. Cleared ILS runway 02 Air Portugal 77 Yankee.
So direct to Passex.
Lisbon arrival, Air Portugal 433, flight level 120 with the numbers. Air Portugal 433, Lisbon arrival, QNH 100.
And we are cleared for the ILS, so let's hit that approach button. There's the other plane.
1009, expect the ILS runway 02 with a Passex transition. Air Portugal 433.
So it's gonna cross us like that at 7,000. Or actually lower than that. So we got Cat 3 single, but we're not gonna use Cat 3, of course. It's just the preloading. Let's set our little guy here to ILS. There it is. So course 2025. We got ILS tuned in 109.10. We are 20 nautical miles. Remember, we should be at 4,000 feet at 11 nautical miles. That's that point right there where the circle intercepts the runway threshold line. Not the threshold, center line. Again, if you guys want to descend faster, don't blame you. You just go you pull this pin and set your vertical speed to the desired. We are at 1,200 feet per minute. That's pretty good. At some point we'll go manual, as usual. Another airplane is no longer in sight. It's on your right side, no factor. So you can see here the shortcut we've just done out of Ernil direct to P6. That's what we want to do. It's our little plane. It's gonna fly all the way down here and perform the ILS approach as expected. We're just letting it fly automatic for now. We're approaching the transition altitude. We're slightly above the glide path, but that's not important. The most important thing first is to intercept the localizer. Then we worry about the ILS for the glide slope. So we got descent, nav, altitude, glide slope, and localizer are locked. Should start turning any moment. As soon as this chevron turns into a diamond, it will start turning left. Altitude standard 1009. Or was it 1009 or 1006? 1009, I was correct. There's the turn. There's another plane in, so let's decelerate. Pull that pin back and just set a lower speed. We're gonna go for minimum approach speed. We're just gonna give time for that plane to land.
Portugal 77 Yankee. Lisbon Tower, Air Portugal 77 Yankee, ALS runway 02.
We're established.
Air Portugal 77 Yankee, Lisbon Tower.
Completely established. Clear to land.
02 cleared to land, Air Portugal 77 Yankee.
So let's help the plane decelerate a little bit. Oop, too much. Flaps 1. Speed check, flaps 1. Landing checklist. FEs as required and the terrain setup. External lights are all on. Let's turn on the radio. Runway turn off. Nose wheel lights set for takeoff. Auto brakes set to minimum. Speed brakes armed. Gear down. Not gonna mess the button now. Gear coming down. Here we go on the approach. Everything looks fine. Gear is down, 3 green. Speed check, flaps 2. Oop, too much. That was on the threshold of the overspeed right there. But we do need to decelerate this plane. Let's go back to managed. 1000 check. Let's go manual. I'll put my feet on the pedals. Autopilot off. Speed check, flaps 3. Just flying the glide path. Little low.
100 above.
Check.
Minimum.
Continue. Little low, but we're fine.
Glide slow.
Yeah, I know.
Glide slow.
I know.
40. 30. 20. Retard. Retard. Drive.
Roll out, reverse in, auto brake 1 engaged. So let's go for that Hotel 4 exit. 80 knots. So this is the high-speed exit, Hotel 4.
Air Portugal 77 Yankee, exit right at uniform 5. Exit right at uniform 5, Air Portugal 77 Yankee.
No, let's do Hotel 4, sorry.
Alpine 12 Golf Whiskey Lisbon Tower, wind 025 at 7, runway 02 cleared for takeoff. Traffic 1 mile final, no delay.
There we go. Nice landing.
Air Portugal 77 Yankee, contact ground 121.755. Ground 121.755, Air Portugal 77 Yankee.
Let's taxi to the assigned gate. Oh, let me sit better, because my chair slipped.
Portugal 77 Yankee, gate 114, taxi via uniform 4 Alpha 5.
Gate 114.
Yankee, Alpha 2. Over to gate 114, taxi via uniform 4 Alpha 5, Whiskey 2 Tango, Yankee, Alpha 2, Air Portugal 77 Yankee.
So,
Ryanair 3 Bravo Delta, continue taxi.
all the way down here.
Continue taxi, Ryanair 3 Bravo Delta.
APU start now.
209 kilo. Contact Lisbon Tower 118.105.
Let's turn this on. Let's just leave the rest off.
Air Portugal 1932, taxi for departure. Air Portugal 1932, runway 02, taxi via Alpha 3 Golf 1 Foxtrot, uniform 1 Mike 5. Runway 02 via Alpha 3 Golf 1 Foxtrot, uniform 1 Mike 5, Air Portugal 1932.
So here we are at Alpha 5, and then all the way down here.
Contact Lisbon Tower 118.105.
Oh, hold on. No, we need to turn at Whiskey 2. Oh, alright. It's right here, I believe. Yep. So not a direct taxi 2. So Whiskey 2, then Tango, then Yankee. Alright. Maybe to avoid traffic departing. So this is Tango. Previously, this was a runway 3517. Now it's just a taxiway. Very large taxiway, by the way. Then we need to turn at Yankee, Tango, then Yankee, right here. Then Alpha 2, so to the right, all the way to gate 114. So, coming up on Yankee, next turn here. And we can turn off our engine number 2. Single engine taxi. Let's bleed in. Turn in. So 117, 116, 115, and 114. That's the one. And we got jetways. Didn't have jetways in Nantes. Alright. There's a guy there. Let's turn in. I hope we can see anything with the PDGS because of the sun glare.
Contact Lisbon Tower 118.105. Contact Tower 118.105, Air Portugal 1932, bye-bye.
Wait. There we go. So, a little bit to the right. Moving in. Too fast.
Air Portugal 1863, request taxi to the active. Air Portugal 1863, runway 02 taxi via Echo, Mike 3 Mike 4 Delta, November 2. Runway 02 taxi via
Stop.
Echo, Mike 3 Mike 4 Delta, November 2 Air Portugal
Set parking brake.
1863.
Okay. These lights should have been off when entering the gate, but no one's gonna notice that. Beacon off and engine 1 off. After landing, checklist was not performed. We're toasting everybody on the ground. Nose wheel steering, lights, flaps up, spoilers retracted, weather radar off, protective windshield off, TCAS 2 off. And we are going to deboard, yes sir. Terrain 2 off. Set this back to arc. Turn off constraints. Oops. Turn off landing system and flight directors. APU is on. We already have external power, so let's turn on ground control. Wing NTI is not required, engine NTI is not required, APU bleed is on. Oh, sorry. Already I got external power. And that's it. And now parking checklist, parking brake is set, nav aids to off. FCU has been reset, flight directors 1 and 2 are off, and ND ARC 1, ARC 10 and ARC 10 set. NTI is off, engine master switches are both off, and fuel pumps 2 off and off. Beacon is off. Wing lights can also go off. Seatbelt signs to off. And I got a phone call here. Got a transponder to off. Sorry about that. And cockpit door to open. And people are exiting. Alright. So, guys, this is the... Alright, it's off. Sorry about that. So, welcome to Lisbon. This has been quite a pleasant flight, I would say. It's been very amusing, at least. I can't seem to go outside. Oh, there it is. Oh my god. So, this was a very pleasant flight out of Nantes Airport to Lisbon Airport in Portugal. Flight was very uneventful. I just got in that tug, that crate or whatever. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you guys next time. Next time I'm going to take the A340 as promised. Probably TAP Portugal, old colors that I love so much. I don't know where I'm going next, so if you guys want to leave a comment, please feel free to do so. I love this. This little flight was very cool. It will be even cooler if there was really some icing conditions, but you know, you win some, lose some. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for your likes and your subscriptions. Thank you all from my two very nice mods, Mirsha and Andrew, as well as our good friend Jose from Airport Wings, and also the visitors that we had today. Leandro, abraço, aquele abraço, Leandro. Spotter Tamfar, thank you so much. And who else? Rogério Silvestre, thank you so much as well. All of you guys, you're the guys that make this channel move. So I thank you so much for your help and your support, and I hope to see you next time, hopefully in the A340 flying somewhere nice. Thank you, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
to fly up in the sky. Through the clouds I reach so high, climbing up to touch the light. Adventure calls me day and night. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. The stars above begin to shine, painting trails so bright and fine. Every turn brings something new, endless skies in brilliant blue. The wind, it sings a melody, guiding where I long to be. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the dream's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soar into the light. I'll spread my wings and chase the sun. No limits when the drum's begun. The world below fades out of sight as I soared into the